Yes. Hi everyone. So today we are going to discuss the CBSE 2026 core maths paper which took place yesterday. I have already discussed the applied maths paper, so you can check that out in the channel. So let's start off with question number one. So question number one says that a relation R on the set 1, 2, 3 defined on. So R is given to us. Now we need to comment on which of the following option is correct. So if you will see 3 comma 3 does not belong to the relation, so it means this relation is not reflexive. Symmetric में 1 comma 2 है, but 2 comma 1 नहीं है, so it means it is not symmetric. It is only transitive, so it means option D is correct for this question. So let's move on to question number 2. If A and B are square matrices of the same order, then which of the following statements is always true? So if you will see, the third one is correct. The second one is wrong. It's not necessary कि हमेशा दो matrices commutative होंगे. One is also wrong. So it means which option is correct? Only option number C is right. So let's look at the next one. Question number 3. So this question is based on symmetric matrix. So now we need to tell the value of 3A plus B plus C. So now because this is a symmetric matrix, we can say that A is equal to -1. So just looking at these two elements, and B is going to be 0 and C is going to be equal to 5. वैसे तो हम A transpose A is equal to A से ही करेंगे, but I'm just making use of the trick to get to know what is the final answer. So now looking at this particular equation, we are given -3 plus 0 plus 5, which means that the answer is option number A, which is 2. Now moving on to question number 4, it says that if A is equal to this matrix and A transpose, the sum of these two is equal to identity matrix. So let's calculate cos x minus of sin x and cos x. Now I'm adding the transpose of these two matrices. So cos x minus sin x, and this is going to be sin x and cos x. Now this particular sum is equal to 1, 0, 0, 1. Now what you need to do is compare the sum. So what is it coming out to be? 2 cos x is equal to 1, right? So I'm just comparing the corresponding elements. So इससे क्या आ जाएगा? क्योंकि cos x is 1 by 2, it is only at one option, which is option number C, right? Which is pi by 3. Now coming to question number 5. For a square matrix, this particular expression is equal to option number C. So this is a direct substitution based question. So this is going to be option number C. Looking at question number 6, it says that if the determinant of this particular matrix is equal to -86, then what is the sum of all possible values of A? So I'm going to expand or calculate the determinant along the row 3. So what will we get? So this is going to be -4. Now let's calculate 1 plus of 10, and this is going to be plus of 2A. So it is going to be minus of A minus of 4, and this expression is equal to minus of 86, right? So now we will just simplify this expression and you will get this equation as 2A square plus 8A minus 42 is equal to 0. अब यहाँ पे या तो आप middle term splitting लगा सकते हो, but the trick here is you can simply make use of the concept कि हम roots कैसे निकालते हैं किसी भी quadratic equation में. So sum of all possible values of A or sum of roots is nothing but minus D by A, which is -8 by 2. So answer C is correct, which is -4. Now let's move on to question number 7. It says that we are given an expression and we need to calculate dy by dx. So let's do it. Let's differentiate both sides. So that is going to be e to the power minus x. Then we will have -1 plus e to the power minus y. And derivative of minus y is going to be minus dy by dx. And this expression is equal to 0 because derivative of a constant is 0. So let's rearrange the given expression. So we will have positive of e to the power minus x. And we are going to multiply e to the power positive of y. So this will give us this. Now taking this negative sign over to the other side, and you will see option D is correct for this one. So option D is right. Now question number 8 is, for the given function, we need to comment on the local maxima or minimum. So let's first of all calculate f dash x, which is equal to 1 minus 1 by x square. Now, if you're going to equate this to 0, you will see कि x की value क्या आ रही है, या तो +1 है या तो -1. Right? Now, let's calculate the double derivative of this expression, and you will see it is going to be 2 by x to the power 3. अब मैं क्या करूंगी? I'm going to just check for both the critical values that you have just got. At x is equal to 1, so it is going to be 2. So this is greater than 0, it means you are getting a minima. And f double dash minus 1, so it is going to be -2, which means you are getting a maxima. So it means in this question, as per this, you are getting a local maxima. Okay, yes. सो इस क्वेश्चन के हिसाब से तो ऑप्शन सी राइट आ रहा है, विच इज दिस आंसर. सो इट मीन्स अगर हम वैल्यू चेक करेंगे ऑफ द फंक्शन, हाउ मच इज इट गोइंग टू बी? यस, सो डबल डेरिवेटिव इज नेगेटिव एट x इज इक्वल टू -1. So now let's move on to the next one, question number 9. Question number 9 is an definite integral based question. So इसमें straight up you will apply the formula of 1 divided by 1 plus a square का formula. So it is going to be 1 by a. A की value क्या आ जाएगी? 2, because you can write this 4x square as 2x square. So it is going to be 1 by 2 tan inverse 2x, right? And your lower limit is 0, upper limit is 2a. So when you are going to solve this expression, you will have eventually that this expression is equal to pi by 6 as given here. Tan inverse 0 is going to be 0. So it's only tan of inverse 4a, and this is going to be pi by 3, because 2 and 6 को हम simplify करेंगे तो वो pi by 3 हो जाएगा. So it means I'll say 4a is equal to tan of pi by 3. In solving this expression, you should get the value of a as under root 3 by 4. Right? आपको simply substitute करना है tan pi by 3 की value, and you will get the value of a as under root 3 by 4. Now let's move on to question number 10. This is based on area of region bounded by the curve. So you are given two curves. So let's look at it. यहाँ पे x positive हो सकता है, negative हो सकता है, but y is positive. So it is an upward U-shaped parabola, and y is equal to 16. Assume this is your y is equal to 16. अब इसमें हमें बताना है कि इसका आंसर क्या होगा. So it is going to be what? Both the regions are to be considered. And how can you write the function as? So you will say integral 0 से 16, because मेरी upper limit is 0 से 16. And what about this? You will write this down as under root of y dy, because we are going to integrate this function with respect to the y-axis, and because both the regions are to be considered, you will simply multiply it with 2. So option number D is correct for this one. Now coming to question number 11, this is based on differential equation. So let's apply variable separable. So taking under root y over to the other side and dx divided by under root x, integrate both sides. So this is going to be how much? Yes. So जब आप इंटीग्रेट करोगे आपका आंसर डायरेक्टली आ जाएगा c इज इक्वल टू अंडर रूट y माइनस अंडर रूट x. सो यहाँ पे बस आप वही फॉर्मूला लगा रहे हो, दैट इंटीग्रल ऑफ x टू द पावर n dx इज इक्वल टू x टू द पावर n प्लस 1. सो जब ये y ऊपर जाएगा, सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी -1 by 2, बट एडिंग 1 इट इज गोइंग टू बी 1 by 2, सो ये अंडर रूट आ जाएगा. And if you are going to take the right hand side to the over left hand side, so you will get option C as the correct one. So let's look at question number 12. So we are given an equation. So सबसे पहले हम इसको simplify कर लेते हैं. dy by dx minus y by 2x. So I'm dividing the whole equation with 2x. So this is equal to 3 divided by 2x. Now what is the value of p? P is 1 by -1 by 2x. And now if you are going to calculate the integrating factor, it is e to the power y minus 1 by 2x dx. And how much is this? Let's take -1 by 2 outside. तो ये आ जाएगा log x, and take -1 by 2 as the power of x. So it is going to be x to the power -1 by 2. So after solving this expression, you should be getting 1 by under root x. Yes. So option number B is correct. Now question number 13 says if the value of a, magnitude of a is 5, and you are given that the value of lambda is in between -2 to 1, then the sum of greatest and smallest value of the magnitude of lambda A is going to be. So see, when you are looking at this expression, अगर आप lambda की value consider करोगे, magnitude of lambda, so you will say it is going to be in between 0 से 2, right? Equality both sides. So now why are we going to do this is क्योंकि जब मैं इसकी value find करूंगी, so I can write them separately as this. And lambda तो constant है, which is in between these two values. So we can say that this is basically having the smallest value as 0 क्योंकि lambda की value 0 होगी least. And maximum value कितनी होगी? 2 होगी. So how much is going to be the greatest value? It is going to be 10. So it means the sum of greatest and smallest is going to be simply option number C, which is 10. Now looking at the next question, this is based on vector of a magnitude 3 making equal angles with x and y axis and is perpendicular to the z axis is. So इसमें मुझे given है क्योंकि angle with respect to the x and y, so it means alpha is equal to beta and perpendicular to the z axis, so gamma is equal to 90 degrees, right? So as per this, can we say that we are going to make use of the relationship जिसमें cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma is equal to 1. But क्योंकि gamma is 90, cos 90 is 0. So we will simply consider these two values and the sum is equal to 1. Right? So now what you need to do is you will calculate the value of alpha क्योंकि alpha is equal to beta. So इससे क्या value आ जाएगी? You will calculate the value of alpha and now because the magnitude is 3, अब simply उस vector को 3 से multiply करोगे, so you will see कि option number C is the correct answer, right? So इसमें simply we are making use of this equation to get to see what is the value of alpha and then simply calculating the vector as well. So now let us move on to the next one, which is question number 15. Now question number 15 says direction cosine of the given line is given by the equation. So let's write this equation in the standard form. So taking 2 common, you will have x minus 1 by 2 divided by 4 and this is equal to taking negative common. So you will get y minus of 1 divided by 3 and this is equal to minus z by 6. So it means x minus 1 by 2 divided by 2 हो जाएगा and this is going to be y minus 1 divided by minus 3 and z divided by minus 6. अब ये जो वैल्यू आ गई है, नाउ डायरेक्शन रेशियो तो पता चल गया दैट इट इज गोइंग टू बी 2 minus 3 and minus 6 and now you are going to simply calculate the direction cosine. So सबसे पहले आप magnitude calculate कर लेना, which is going to be 4 plus 9 plus 36, which is 49, so it is going to be 7. So it means the only option which is having all the values, it is going to be option number B. So B right है, C गलत है क्योंकि इसमें positive 6 है जबकि the value is negative 6. Now moving on to question number 16. In a linear programming problem, the linear function has to be maximized or minimized. So इस question के लिए तो simply B है, objective function. So moving on to question number 17, we are given the feasible region in this question and you need to tell the non-trivial constraint. अब इसमें this is question number 17, non-trivial constraint कौन सा होगा? So what you need to do is just plug in the points and see कि inequality satisfy हो रही है कि नहीं. And in this question, option D is correct, which is satisfying the conditions and inequality as well, right? So moving on to question number 18, we are given that two events A and B are such that P of A is non-zero and P of B is non-zero, no matter what this expression. So numerator is always the intersection of the two events divided by probability of B dash. So how much is this going to be? 1 minus. So इसको हम कैसे लिख सकते हैं? We can write this down as A union B dash. So it means 1 minus of P of A union B divided by P of B dash. So it means option D is right for this question. Now let's move on to this part. Assertion reasoning based question. अब इस question में option B is correct. Okay? Both of them are right, but R is not the reason. So this completes question number 19. In question number 20 में, if you will see, It is going to be option number C, that cos theta is equal to 1 and theta is going to be pi by 2. So इसका आंसर ऑप्शन नंबर C हो जाएगा. And this completes the first 20 questions. So let's move on to 21. This is based on check whether the function defined by this is onto or not. So इसमें onto और not के लिए इसमें तो हमें पूछा ही नहीं गया है कि 1 1 है या नहीं, but onto के लिए what you can do is assume the expression to be by and x minus of 2 divided by x minus of 3. Simplify the expression and write this expression as x is equal to something. So अगर आप इसको solve करोगे तो आपको मिल जाएगा x is equal to 3y minus 2 and y minus 1. अब यहाँ पे सिर्फ we are excluding the value as 3 जिसमें that too from the domain, but co-domain में हम real number ले रहे हैं. So it means y cannot be equal to 1. So it means because for that one particular value, you are not having a pre-image, so this is not going to be an onto function, right? So now let's move on to the next one. This is based on, again, we have to check whether the function is injective or not. इसका मतलब यही है कि 1 1 and onto check करना है. So we can do that by simply assuming that two functions are equal, and इसमें हम check करेंगे कि उनका domain equal है कि नहीं. So let's do that here. So let us assume 2 of y1 comma 3 of x1 is equal to 2 of y2 and 3 of x2. So I'm considering that f of x1 y1 is equal to f of x2 y2. Now comparing these two equations, you can easily say कि y1 की value equal है y2 के and x1 की value is equal to x2, and this is an 1 1 function, right? So इसमें onto नहीं पूछा है, so we are not going to check for that. So this completes question number 21. Now moving on to question number 22, we have to calculate dy by dx. So what is dy by dt? It is equal to b multiplied by 3 cos square t, and derivative of cos is minus of sine, so it is going to be minus of sine t. And dx by dt कितना आ जाएगा? A into 3 sine square t into cos t. Now, if you are going to divide the two expressions, what are you going to get is b by a, 3 cancel हो जाएगा, and you are going to have cos square t, negative sign भी है, divided by sine square t. अब अगर आप इस expression को solve करोगे further, you should be getting minus b by a, right? So this is going to be minus b by a simply. So this completes question number 22. Now let's move on to question number 23. What is the absolute maximum value for this expression? Right. So first of all, let's calculate the first derivative. It is minus of sine x plus 2 sine x cos x. And now what you're going to do is at max we can take sine x common. So it is going to give you minus 1 plus 2 of cos x, and this is equal to 0. अब sin x कब 0 हो सकता है? At 0 और pi, right? And what about minus 1 plus 2 cos x कब 0 हो सकता है? जब x की value pi by 3 होगी, right? So we have calculated the critical values, and now let's move on to calculating the second derivative, which is equal to minus of cos x plus, अब 2 sin x cos x को कैसे लिख सकते हैं? Sin of 2x. So इसका डेरिवेटिव क्या हो जाएगा? Cos of 2x, and I'm going to take that negative sign outside. अब अगर आप सारे वैल्यू सब्स्टिट्यूट करोगे at f double dash 0, how much is it going to be? Minus 1 plus 2. So it is going to be how much? Positive 1, right? So now looking at the other value, which is f double dash of pi, how much is it equal to? It is going to be minus of 1, right? So इस केस में बस हम ये फाइंड कर रहे हैं कि कहाँ पे मैक्सिमम आ रहा है, कहाँ पे मिनिमम आ रहा है. बट इफ यू विल सिंपली कैलकुलेट द वैल्यू ऑफ f of 0, इट इज गोइंग टू बी 1, क्योंकि ये एब्सोल्यूट मैक्सिमम की बात कर रहा है. सो यू विल लुक एट द एंड पॉइंट्स स्पेशली. So f of 0 is going to be 1, f of pi is minus 1, right? And what about f of pi by 3? F of pi by 3 is equal to 2. So comparing all these values, 2 is maximum. So you will see कि pi by 3 पे आपको absolute maximum मिल रहा है. And yes, so this completes the question. So moving on to question number, this is the next question. So let's read this down. So in this question, if the volume of a solid hemisphere increases at a uniform rate, so what is the formula for volume for hemisphere? It is 2 by 3 pi r cube, right? So इसमें dv by dt क्या आ जाएगा? So let us calculate, क्योंकि with respect to rate बोला है, so you will have to calculate dv by dt. So this is going to be 2 by 3 pi. This is going to be 3r square dr by dt. Right? So how much are we getting? 2r square pi dr by dt. Now moving on to the other part. तो इसमें dr by dt को लिख लेते हैं in terms of v. So how much is dr by dt? It is going to be equal to v divided by 2r square pi. Now what about the surface area? Surface area का जो formula है, it is going to be 3 pi r square. And what about dA by dt now? Because we are looking at the change, rate of change in both these values. So how much is it going to be equal to? 3 pi into 2r dr by dt. So this is the value that you are getting. Now compare both of these values. इन दोनों वैल्यूज को कंपेयर करके देखिए that can we substitute the value of dr by dt from the first equation into the second. So how much are you getting? 2r square pi, and now solving this, pi is getting cancelled, r is getting cancelled, and ये 3 हो जाएगा. So how much are we getting? So this is going to be simply, अगर आप बस r के comparison में देखोगे, so the change in the surface area is inversely proportional to 1 by r. राइट. सो बस मुझे यही प्रूव करना है इसमें, और इन टर्म्स ऑफ वैल्यूज इन डेप्थ नहीं जाना है. इट इज गोइंग टू बी इन टर्म्स ऑफ आर ओनली, जो आप अपना आंसर बताओगे. नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. So in this question, you are given the vector form such that the sum of coordinates is 3, right? So इसमें if you are going to write the proper form, जैसे minus of j cap plus 3 of k cap plus 2 lambda I cap minus 2 lambda j cap plus 2. We don't have a 2 here, so let's keep it down to lambda k cap. So इसमें अगर हम solve करेंगे, so it is going to be 2 of lambda I cap plus take j cap common, so it is going to be minus 1 minus of 2 lambda, and then we have k cap which is going to be 3 plus of lambda. तो ये सारे values आपको मिल गए. Sum of the coordinates is equal to 3. So simply you will have to add the coefficient of I cap, j cap and k cap. So what will you get? Plus of 3 plus lambda. This is going to be equal to 3. अब आपको बस ये equation solve करना है. And what should be the value? Lambda is simply equal to 1. अब इसमें पूछा है कि coordinates of the point भी बताना है. So you will simply have to substitute in these places. तो ये हो जाएगा 2. ये क्या हो जाएगा? -1 -2 which is -3. So we are discussing the value of x, y, z. And what about this? This is going to be 3 plus 1 which is going to be 4. So the point is going to be 2 minus 3 and 4. On definite integral, and इसमें हम same property use करेंगे that integral, any integral which is from a to b, f of x dx is always equal to integral a to b f of a plus b minus x dx. So making use of the same property and considering the fact कि cot pi by 2 minus x is tan x, तो हम ये result पाएंगे. And then you are going to add both these equations. So basically यहाँ पे x ही है. Upon adding this first equation and this second equation, you will get this expression. अगर आप इसको simplify करोगे, you will get this particular bracket as 1. And now you will simply integrate this to get x, and then you will eventually substitute the upper limit and lower limit, but final answer is 5 by 6 होगा. So let's look at the next question. This next question is again definite integral. तो इसमें हमें interval given है -5 by 6 to pi by 2. So I'm going to split these two, and accordingly we will adjust the signs of mod, and this is what you are going to get. So the next expression is कि आप इसको सिंप्लीफाई करोगे. cos माइनस एक्स तो पॉजिटिव एक्स होता है, तो उसमें कोई चेंज नहीं आएगा, बट साइन माइनस एक्स माइनस साइन एक्स हो जाता है. So this is what you are going to get. And simplify this expression, substitute the upper limit and lower limit. The final answer should be 7 minus under root 3 by 2. Now coming to question number 26, इसमें given है कि derivative of the function is equal to this expression. Now we need to find f of x. तो इसमें क्या है कि सबसे पहले आपको मल्टीप्लाई करना है न्यूमरेटर एंड डिनोमिनेटर को विद e टू द पावर माइनस एक्स, एंड दिस इज व्हाट द एक्सप्रेशन दैट यू आर गोइंग टू गेट, एंड देन इवेंचुअली इंटीग्रेट बोथ साइड्स टू गेट द ओरिजिनल फंक्शन एफ ऑफ एक्स, राइट। बस इसमें कांस्टेंट भी आएगा, बट इसमें हमें एक कंडीशन भी गिवन है जिसके हेल्प से हम फाइंड करेंगे कांस्टेंट की वैल्यू विच शुड कम आउट टू बी इक्वल टू 0. So this is the next question. And moving on to question number 29, it is based on differential equation, and इसमें हम basically use करेंगे the concept of homogeneous differential equation. So for this, you are going to make use of v is equal to y by x, because in the expression you are given dy by dx and y by x. So इसको आप solve करोगे and integrate it. So you should be getting the final equation as cot y by x, which is equal to log x प्लस सी, बट क्योंकि आपको इनिशियल कंडीशन भी गिवन है तो आप पाई बाय 6 यूज करोगे, सो दिस इज इक्वल टू अंडर रूट 3. एंड अगर आप यहाँ पे सब्सटीट्यूट कर दोगे, सो द फाइनल एक्सप्रेशन इज समथिंग लाइक दिस. नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, दिस इज बेस्ड ऑन लीनियर डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन. तो इसमें क्या है कि सबसे पहले हम y log y से डिवाइड कर देंगे होल इक्वेशन को, बिकॉज आई वांट द कोफिशिएंट ऑफ dx by dy to be 1, and then I can see that yes, this is eventually a linear differential equation. in px की py की वैल्यू in qy की वैल्यू हम लिख देंगे यहाँ पे, and then calculating the integrating factor which comes out to be log y, and then eventually finding the general equation and substituting all the values, you should be getting the final answer as x log y plus 2 by y is equal to c. And इसमें हमें और कोई initial condition नहीं given है, so we cannot find the value of c. And number 30, we are given an LPP problem which we have to solve graphically. Now in this question, we have to maximize the given objective function, and we are given three linear inequalities or constraints, जिसमें the moment you are going to plot these two equations, आपको ऐसा ग्राफ मिलेगा. Now focusing on the corner points, if you will see, there are going to be three corner points apart from the origin. So it is going to be 0, 50, 30, 20, and 40, 0. Now calculating the value of the objective function at these corner points, and if you will see, at 0, 50, it is going to be 4,50,000, and at 30, 20, it is going to be 4,95,000, and at 40, 0, it is going to be 4,20,000. So because the question asked us to calculate or maximize the given objective function, the answer for this particular question is going to be 4,95,000, at which we are getting the maximum value. And the corner point is 30, 20. So this completes question number 30, and let's move on to the next number 31. Question number 31 is basically based on probability, जिसमें probability of getting hit by a trained sniper is 3 times. So it means अगर मैं लिखूं P is equal to 3Q, we are assuming P to be the probability of success and Q to be that of failure. And again, sum of all the probabilities is equal to 1. So यहाँ पे क्या वैल्यू आ जाएगी, अगर आप कैलकुलेट करोगे Q की वैल्यू 1/4 आ जाएगी, P की वैल्यू कितना आ जाएगा, 1 minus 1/4, which is 3/4. Now what is the next part, कि the target is hit. तो इसमें क्या है कि सिंपली यू कैन कैलकुलेट 1 माइनस की प्रोबेबिलिटी की टारगेट हिट नहीं हो रही है, सो यू विल सिंपली कैलकुलेट 1 माइनस ऑफ, अब कितने स्ट्राइक्स है इसमें, 2 शॉट्स है, सो इट मीन्स 1 माइनस कंसिडरिंग द फैक्ट कि फर्स्ट उसमें भी उसने नहीं हिट किया, सेकेंड उसमें भी उसने हिट नहीं किया है, सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी 1/4 into 1/4, which is 1 minus 1/16, which is going to be 15/16, right? Now let's move on to the next one. At least one shot is being missed. So इसमें क्या है कि या तो पहले मिस हो रहा है या तो दूसरे में मिस हो रहा है. So accordingly, you will say it is going to be 1/4 into 3/4 into 2, and plus of 1/4 into 1/4. या तो एक बार मिस हो रहा है, that too in the first one or in the second one, या दोनों बार ही मिस हो रहा है, क्योंकि at least one means या तो एक मिस हो रहा है या तो दोनों मिस हो रहा है. So after solving this equation, it is going to be 6/16 plus 1/16, which is 7/16, and this completes the question. Now moving on to the next one, इसमें क्या है, mother, father, son lined up at random for a family picture. So let's consider कि family picture में कैसे हो सकता है, FMS हो सकता है या तो SMF हो सकता है. So I'm making use of M for mother, F for father, and S for son. MES हो सकता है. व्हाट आर द अदर चांसेस? PFSM हो सकता है, या तो SFM होगा, या फाइनली MSF होगा. नाउ इन दिस केस यू विल हैव टू फाइंड द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ E गिवन F, राइट? सो इसमें क्या करेंगे? You will simply look at the intersection of the two in the numerator and probability of F से divide कर देंगे, which is 2 by 2. So your answer is going to be 1 in this case, and this completes the question. और if you're wondering कि E intersection F में कौन कौन से दो वैल्यूज आ रहे हैं, तो एक तो SFM है और MFS होगा. Yes. So these two are the values. So 2 by 2 will be the answer. So let's move on to question number 32. ये क्वेश्चन आप लोग करिए, लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट्स कि क्या आंसर होगा. सो सिंपली आपको प्रोडक्ट फाइंड करना है क्यूपी का, एंड यू विल हैव टू सॉल्व द गिवन सिस्टम ऑफ इक्वेशंस. या तो आप बेसिक मेथड लगा रहे हो वेर यू आर कैलकुलेटिंग द एडजॉइंट एंड डिवाइडिंग इट विद डिटर्मिनेंट, और यू कैन ऑल्सो मेक यूज ऑफ क्रैमर्स रूल. इसमें कुछ स्पेसिफाइड नहीं है, बट क्रैमर्स रूल तो अप्लाइड में होगा. तो you could have made use of the basic method of calculating the inverse of a matrix. Now what about the next one? Now this one is based on determinant. इसमें given है कि calculate करना है determinant, so let's do that. 1 plus x. So we have 1 plus y, 1 plus z, minus of 1, then minus of 1. This gives us 1 plus z minus of 1, and plus of 1. This gives us 1 minus of 1 plus y is equal to 0. क्योंकि हमें given है this is equal to 0. Now if you are going to simplify this equation now, you should be getting yz. So I'm just writing the simplified version. xy plus xz plus xyz is equal to 0. इसको आप इधर ले जाइए xyz को, and then you will eventually see कि यही जो equation है ये prove हो रहा है, right? So let's do that. So this is going to be minus of xyz. And if I'm going to divide the whole equation with this expression over to the other side, so you will get x inverse plus y inverse plus z inverse is equal to minus. Now let's move on to question number 33. Now this question is based on increasing, decreasing. So यहाँ पे हमें function given है cot inverse sin x plus cos x. Now what you are going to do is differentiate both sides. So making use of the basic definition की cot inverse u का differentiation क्या है, and then what is the function u itself, क्योंकि यहाँ पे chain rule लगेगा. So accordingly when you are going to differentiate both sides, and critical point के लिए ये जो डिनोमिनेटर है व्हेन इट विल गो ओवर टू द अदर साइड वो तो जीरो हो जाएगा. सो व्हाट यू आर लेफ्ट विद इज sin x minus cos x. इक्वल कर दो बोथ दोनों साइड्स को, एंड व्हेन इज इट पॉसिबल कि sin एंड cos इक्वल है एक दूसरे को, सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी 5/4. नाउ यू आर गोइंग टू लुक इनटू द इंटरवल्स, एंड व्हाट द इंटरवल्स आर, मुझे बस ये डिफाइन करना है कि वो 0 से पाई के बीच में होंगे. सो अकॉर्डिंगली 0 से π/4 में फंक्शन जो है लेस देन 0 है, एंड उससे ग्रेटर देन बट लेस देन पाई इट इज गोइंग टू बी इंक्रीजिंग, because my first derivative is greater than 0. So accordingly, we have looked into the subintervals where my function is increasing or decreasing. Now let's look at this next question. यहाँ पे क्या है कि we are given that a rectangle of perimeter is given to us around one of these sides to sweep out a cylinder of maximum volume. ठीक है, हमें dimensions बताना है. So in this case, if you will see, if you are assuming the sides to be L and B, क्योंकि हमें perimeter given है, we are getting this equation L plus B is equal to 18. Now because it is being rotated along the side L, तो हमारा जो height होगा it is basically equal to L, and जो R होगा वो breadth की तरह act करेगा. And then because we have to maximize volume, we are going to make use of the formula of volume and simply substitute these two variables. एंड बिकॉज मुझे इन इस इक्वेशन को वन वेरिएबल में कन्वर्ट करना है, आई एम गोइंग टू मेक यूज ऑफ दैट फर्स्ट इक्वेशन दैट L plus B is equal to 18. Substitute it down, then you will differentiate both sides, equate this to 0. So only 12 minus B will be equal to 0. So इससे आपको B की वैल्यू मिल जाएगी, एंड L की वैल्यू यहाँ पे इवेंचुअली 6 हो जाएगी, which gives us the dimensions of the rectangle, right? So this completes the question. Now coming to question number 34, इसमें हमें given है that find the domain of cos inverse x square minus 1, and we need to find the value of x for which g of x is equal to π/3. So इसमें क्या है कि first of all we will remember कि cos inverse x की जो value है, it is domain, in this case it is going to be in between -1 and 1, right? So इसके थ्रू हम फाइंड कर सकते हैं कि x square किसके बीच में लाई करेगा, 0 से 2, एंड x किस में लाई करेगा? x is going to lie in between -2 रूट अंडर रूट टू से अंडर रूट टू के बीच में लाई करेगा, राइट? सो इट मीन्स यू विल से कि x की वैल्यू इन दोनों वैल्यूज के बीच में लाई करेगा. नाउ कमिंग टू द मेन फैक्ट कि हमें गिवन है दैट g ऑफ x इज इक्वल टू 5/3. सो इट मीन्स x square minus 1 is equal to cos of 5/3. I'm just simply substituting the value of g of x. And यहाँ पे and taking cos over to the other side. So this will give you the value of x as plus minus of under root 3/2. So इसमें जो range अब आ जाएगी, अब range तो क्या होगा? It is going to be 0 से pi itself. So और कोई range होगी नहीं. So it is going to be just this particular interval only, right? So this completes the question as well. Now coming to question number 35. So read this question carefully, and if you will see, this question is also doable. Write your answers in the chat and let me know कि कैसे solve होगा. So in this question, a line passing through the points intersects the given line. Find the coordinates of the point of intersection. Hence, write the equation passing through the point of intersection and perpendicular to both lines. So in this question specifically, what you are going to do is आप Cartesian form तो लिखोगे and what is it going to be equal to is, first of all, let's have a look at x minus 1 divided by, so we are going to calculate the vector form of AB. So 5 minus 1 is going to be 4 and this is going to be equal to y minus 2 divided by 6 and z minus 3 divided by 8. अब इसको हम एक कांस्टेंट m ले सकते हो, t ले सकते हो, whatever you are comfortable with. So we are going to calculate that one point which is on this particular vector. So it is going to be 4m plus 1, y की वैल्यू आ जाएगी 6x plus 2 and z की वैल्यू आ जाएगी 8m plus 3. So this gives us all the three values and now what you need to do is, इसमें आप सिंप्लीफाई भी कर सकते हो. यस, यू कैन सिंप्लीफाई 4 6 8 इनटू द कॉमन जो फैक्टर आएगा 2 3 4, वो भी आप कर सकते हो. बट बिकॉज इट इज गिवन टू अस कि ये इंटरसेक्ट कर रहा है इस पर्टिकुलर वेक्टर से, सो नाउ व्हाट यू आर गोइंग टू डू इज इक्वेट द टू पॉइंट्स एंड लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट्स कि क्या आएगा, सो दैट यू विल गेट द पॉइंट ऑफ इंटरसेक्शन, राइट? And the next one is find the equation of line passing through the point and perpendicular to both these lines. Perpendicular means something related to cross product, right? So इसका आप आंसर मुझे बताइए comments में. Now moving on to question number 36, we are given that a study is being conducted जिसमें 170 in 1000 males who smoke develop lung complications while 120 out of 1000 who smoke develop lung related problems. So इसमें क्या क्या हमें given है? We are given probability of L given M. Male smoker develops lung problem and for that of a female भी हमें given है. Total smokers is 50 and हमें male female का जो value given it is going to be 30 males and 20 females. So हमने probability separately निकाल लिया है. Now question 1 says what is the probability that the selected person is a female. So यहाँ पे value आ जाएगी probability of a female. Then you have probability that a male does not have lung problem. तो इसमें क्या करेंगे हम? 1 minus probability की lung problem है given that it is a male. So it is going to be 0.83. Now coming to the next question, given that the person has lung complications and the probability that the person is female. So इसमें हम probability of female निकालेंगे given that the woman is having lung complications. तो यहाँ पे हमने पूरा वैल्यू कैलकुलेट किया है and it should be equal to 0.32. You can also leave your answer in fractions, that is okay. But in decimals, it is going to be 0.32. Now moving on to the next part. Part B इसमें है कि making use of these two values, you are going to calculate ये दो values. That probability that person is not having a lung infection, but given that he is a male, so ये probability and for that female it is going to be 0.88. So let's move on to the next part and this is the final solution. जो final B part है इसका, the final answer is going to be 0.586. So we are going to make use of all the values जो हमने बीच बीच में calculate करे हैं. P of F हो गया, P of M हो गया, P of L dash M हो गया, L dash F हो गया. So वही हमने substitute कर दिया in the final step B and this is the answer. Now moving on to question number 37. We are given a racetrack. यहाँ पे हमें equation given है. This is the equation of an ellipse. But when reduced, you will get the value of A as 4 and value of B as 3. And this is basically telling us कि जो x axis है वो major axis है, right? The width of the track is 3. So सबसे पहले हमें निकालना है to express y as a function of x from the given equation of ellipse. So यहाँ पे हमने पूरा equation लिख दिया है. You are converting the whole equation into one variable जिसमें आप y को left hand side में रख रहे हो, taking everything on the right hand side. And this is what the expression is looking like. And after integrating, I'm just discussing the final answer. जो final step है वो ये होना चाहिए, that your final answer should be 1 by 8x under root 12 square minus 3x square plus 6 sine inverse pi by x by 4 plus constant of integration should be the answer. Now, area of elliptical ground. Now, this is a short trick that I'm making use of, but आप लोग integration से करके देखा होगा आप लोगों ने. But I'm using a short trick just to confirm that what is the final answer. It is going to be pi AB. आप CUET में use कर सकते हो even though, and it is coming out to be 12 pi as the answer for the third part. Now for the B part, the coordinates are what? इसमें जब हमने A और B की वैल्यू निकाली थी, x is going to be 4, y is going to be 3. So इसमें हमने P and Q की वैल्यू निकाल दी है यहाँ पे, क्योंकि जो आउटर बाउंड्री है वो इंक्रीज हो रहा है 3 से. So simply adding P and Q with respect to x and y coordinate, you will get the value of P and Q, and eventually PQO जो ट्रायंगल बन रहा है उसका आप एरिया निकाल सकते हो. Half of base into height, so it should be coming out to be 21. So this completes the question. Now moving on to question number 38. This is based on continuity. So इसमें क्या है कि हमें कोई track given है, but majorly focusing on the function, we have to comment on f dash x in between the interval 0 to 3. So in between this interval क्या value आ जाएगी? This is going to be 4x3 minus of 8x and plus 4 to 0 हो जाएगा. So this is the particular function. एंड एफ डैश फोर कैलकुलेट करना है. अब एफ डैश फोर कैसे होगा? तो सबसे पहले मुझे वो वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स देखना है जहां पे ग्रेटर देन 3 है. सो इन दिस केस माय फंक्शन इज 2x, राइट? एंड देन यू आर गोइंग टू सब्स्टिट्यूट 2 into 4 विच इज गोइंग टू बी 8. सो यहाँ पे 8 हो जाएगा. टेस्ट द कंटिन्यूटी एट x इज इक्वल टू 3. यहाँ पे आप लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट एंड राइट हैंड लिमिट कैलकुलेट करोगे, राइट? सो लेट्स डू दैट. लिमिट ऑफ x टेंडिंग टू 3 से हमें अगर छोटी वैल्यू कंसिडर करें, सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी 3 minus h to the power 4 minus 4 of, so let me just write this completely. So it is going to be 3 minus of h square plus of 4, and right hand limit क्या हो जाएगा? x tending to 3 plus, which is going to be 3 plus h whole square plus of 40, right? बट आई एम गोइंग टू मेक यूज ऑफ अ ट्रिक. यहाँ पे क्या है कि जो फंक्शन हमें गिवन है उसमें सिंपली मैं 3 सब्स्टिट्यूट करके देख लेती हूँ. सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट हो जाएगा 3 to the power 4 minus 4 into 9 and plus of 4, and right hand limit हो जाएगा 9 plus of this. So how much is this equal to? Calculate in it, compare both sides, and then we will come to the conclusion. So both of them seem to be coming 49. So this means continuous तो है, but differentiability का आप लोग मुझे comments में बताइए that if this function is differentiable or not. So this completes the overview of the paper. So we have discussed the solution कि क्या final answer हो सकता है, हमने analyze किया है, and that is it for today. So thank you so much everyone. So for 2 questions मैंने छोड़ा हुआ है so that you guys can write your answers and opinion in the chat. And let's meet in the upcoming sessions. Thank you so much, everyone.